couple of guys in a couple of countries have a couple of beers or more and discuss the stadium somewhere in the world and their experiences there. I'm Paul.
And I'm Dave.
And we're excited to have you here with us again tonight or today or whenever you're listening. Before we get started, please make sure to subscribe to the Stadium Journey YouTube channel where you can find all of our wonderful Obstructed View episodes. Like the video and feel free to leave a comment if you're so inclined. And to see all of our fantastic content, check out stadiumjourney.com. So let's get started. Dave, what are you drinking today?
So today, for this our 40th episode, can you believe that? 40th.
Wow.
I've gone up the road from the cottage. Up the road from our cottage is where my brother-in-law had his cottage, and it was in tiny Ontario. And of course, everybody and their sister has a brewery, and apparently there's one in tiny Ontario.
But wait a minute. The town is named Tiny?
Yep, it's called Tiny. They have a Georgian Bay beer from Midland Brewworks in Tiny, Ontario. So it's not too bad, kind of Pilsner, but it's got a little bit of a little extra bite to it. But from cottage country, all good. What do you got?
Luckily for you, it doesn't come in a tiny can. So for me, on one of my Futures League road trips this year, which there were several, went up to the lovely, lovely town of Nashua, New Hampshire, where they have also a lot of breweries up along the Merrimack River. And I stopped at one called Liquid Therapy and picked up their Czech Pilsner, which is called Czech Therapy. Now, Liquid Therapy was a very interesting place. They had many interesting flavors of beers. I tried a jalapeno beer, which was pretty good. And then I tried a ghost pepper beer, which was pretty damn hot, I got to tell you.
Wow.
And I also picked up and brought home, and it's been sitting in my fridge for a month or two because about a month, because I haven't decided what I want to do with it yet. If I want to taste it live on social media or something, a peanut butter and jelly beer.
Ooh.
Which was recommended to me by somebody sitting at the bar. So I was like, all right, I'll pick up a can and figure out what to do with it. So that's a Liquid Therapy Brewing in Nashua, New Hampshire. And if you ever find yourself in Nashua, they have a ton of excellent breweries there. This is one of them. And it's located, pretty cool location. It's located in an old firehouse that they converted. So it's got that going for it. So if we were visiting today's destination, and we may get a PG-13 rating for this beer, we may be drinking a Mass Whole Lager from Wormtown Brewery in Worcester, Massachusetts, because today we're talking about Polar Park, the home of the Worcester Red Sox. Before we dive in, let's take a look at the Stadium Vitals. Okay, Polar Park, very controversial ballpark for many, many reasons, not the least of which is that they took an iconic minor league franchise in the Pawtucket Red Sox, rooted them out of Rhode Island, where they had been located for 50 years, and moved them, honestly, not too far away. Worcester is located 40 miles or so away from Pawtucket, so a lot of folks in the area are still able to root for the AAA team of the Red Sox. But another reason it was controversial is the price tag of the ballpark. It is the most expensive minor league ballpark ever built, with the final construction cost. Now, this includes land acquisition and everything that comes along with it. Final cost was $157 million. So, Dave, you just recently went to Worcester for our Stadium Journey convention. $157 million, money well spent. What is your take on Polar Park?
And no roof?
Yeah.
What?
We could have used it the day we visited, right?
We could have used it the day we visited it. No, it was a good inning and a half.
So we got our money's worth out of that.
Well, was it worth it? I mean, it's not my money. I can't tell.
Now, the reason I'm asking you, Dave, and for our listeners, for those of you who are longtime fans of Stadium Journey, you all know what a fan of the Pawtucket Red Sox I was, and what a connection I had with McCoy Stadium. I worked for the team for 12 years, saw my first baseball games there. It really was tied intricately in my life. for many, many years, for almost 50 years. So it really hurt me personally when the team moved. So I want to get an outsider's opinion because mine may not be all happy in sunshine and roses.
Well, I think Pam and I had the same kind of first impression of Polar Park. I mean, the money I have a hard time getting my head around because I'm not used to hearing minor league stadium dollar figures. Used to hearing major league dollar figures. So it's a far cry short of $1 billion, which seems to be the going rate for just about everything.
157, that's a bargain compared to
you
a
could
billion.
Buy 10
yeah.
You could buy 10 of those.
Exactly.
But I think Pam and I had kind of the same first impression, which was, man, this is kind of ugly from the outside.
Okay. Yep. And let's break it down point at a time.
It took some explanation. Now I don't know if I buy the explanation. I don't know if I like the explanation. Well,
it's my explanation for it, so take that for what it's worth. It was built in the section of Worcester known as the Canal District, which is traditionally a very industrial-based area of Worcester. So they did not build Polar Park to be what we have come to call at Stadium Journey the new cookie cutter ballpark. It's not green seats and red bricks. It is
blue siding, blue corrugated siding. Yes. It's like, is this supposed to look like Fenway? And then you were like, well, Fenway's red brick. And I was like, yeah, you're right. I don't know. So anyway, that's kind of a turn off at the beginning, but it's blue, so that's unique. It's not red, it's not green. So the outside, I was kind of like, meh, very Red Sox centric, which I guess is all right.
Worcester is only about 45 miles from Boston, so
giant championship rings, World Series championship rings on the outside. Yeah, I don't know. Inside, the Polar Park really grew on me. There is, and you could see that they had pretty much researched every conceivable minor league stadium because any possible thought process a person could have about a type of seating that one would want in a minor league ballpark, it's there. They have it. They have regular seats. They have like picnic tables. They have Muskoka chairs. Take that
Adirondack chairs here in the United States, please.
They have those. They have high tops. They have a berm. Like they have everything. Like you can't possibly maybe they Ferris wheel seating or something. I don't know what's missing, but
what is it? Cedar Rapids?
Maybe, but yeah, they just about any possible way you could fathom seeing a game, you could see it there.
Yep. If you expect me to trash Polar Park, disclaimer, I'm not going to do it. I like Polar Park, okay, but your point right there is exactly my biggest gripe with the place. It is ballpark by committee. They took a lot of input from the community, which they incorporated in, but like you said, I think they served too many masters. There's too much going on, and as a result, there's no soul to the place. It's just, all right, it's got this, it's got this, it's got this. We checked every single box on our list of things to do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, I interrupted you there.
If they ever did anything with Fenway or with Wrigley or whatever, it'd be the same sort of thing, right? Like, well, why are they changing it? They're changing it to get better sight lines, to have different seating arrangements, to have more luxury boxes, to have all those kinds of things. And that's what's going to happen. Yeah, it's I could understand. It's a tough travel for you, like going from this classic old school, character ballpark to something that's relatively shiny, is a jigsaw puzzle of kind of parks. But as an outsider, there was a lot to like about it. They try to do the 360-degree concourse, and I guess technically it is.
Technically it is.
Significant stairage in there.
Stairage, and you actually leave the ballpark twice, but you do get to walk all the way around.
Yeah, I you know what, I kind of like the seating, and they had the little caboose out what I'm not sure what street that is.
Oh, on Summit Street.
Yeah, they had like the train car. I
Yep.
think they had the guy signing autographs out there.
Yes, Chico Walker was there the day we were there, and they've had a lot of local Red Sox players, a lot of Patriots players out there. So yeah, they make use of that. Almost every game they have somebody out there appearing.
One thing that I thought that was kind of unique that I don't think the average person would get to see, because we were lucky enough we did get to see a little bit of the club area because of the event that they were holding there, that we kind of sort of got a sneaky invite to.
Yeah.
But they had a big statue of Casey.
Yes.
From Casey at the Bat, which is it's probably the only poem, that and the Raven, I think the only poems that I remember from school. I'm not sure if there's any real connection to the New England area. I always thought it was Baltimore.
Yeah.
I think the poem was published in the Baltimore newspaper to start, but I mean, that was kind of neat. The club area was like a club area.
Yeah. So you mentioned the word connection, Dave, and I want to say this is something that the Woo Sox, which is their self-given nickname for themselves, because you go from the Paw Sox to Worcester, you're the Woo Sox. The word connection is strong, and it's what they do best. The connection they have with the community is front and center and awesome at Polar Park. All the concession items are local legends. So you've got George's Coney Island Dogs, you've got Wonder Pizza, you've got was it BT Steakhouse out there in right field? Like
BT Barbecue, I think.
Yeah. So you've got all local vendors providing the foods. When they were designing the ballpark, they held public forums and got local input, fan input of what they wanted the ballpark to look like. And they incorporated so much of that in the ballpark. And then after the first year, when they realized they had made some design mistakes, they got more input. How can we fix this? And they got that input and incorporated that. So it's really the Paw Sox and the city of Pawtucket had an incredibly close working relationship. But in Worcester, they've taken that to another level. And it shows in their operations, and it shows how they treat their fans.
Yeah, it actually, interesting enough. One of the things I'll remember about this is when we were in the club level and we did get to meet one of the officials. Immediately he starts handing out cards and is like, if there's anything, whatever you think about the stadium, you let me know. If there's anything that we can improve upon, and whatever, he was talking about fans, and he was talking about lines, and he was talking about all this kind of stuff. And I was like, wow, I mean, he's wide open and receptive. At least that was my impression.
And I can tell you, Dave, this is the 4th season of Polar Park, 2020, 3rd season. And so I've been there probably about 10 times now in the 3 years. And I can tell you that every time I come, I see more things added. So it wasn't just lip service, like, oh, Stadium Journey's here. Let me just put on the show for them. They mean it when they say, if you see something that we can improve on. Maybe that's because of all the criticism the ballpark has taken, and it was going to take some, just because it was, like you said, it replaced a legendary old school beloved ballpark. And when it first opened, and they had the misfortune of opening during COVID restrictions. So they couldn't do the full scale celebration and full scale opening like they wanted to. Maybe that was a good thing, because you got to do kind of a soft opening. But yeah, it's not lip service. They really want to improve. They really want to make the fan experience one of the best ones in the minor leagues. So a couple of negatives that have come out since, and deserved negatives, not just, oh, it's not McCoy. McCoy was great. This place sucks. I'm not going to even try to go there. I like Polar Park. I was a huge fan of McCoy. McCoy needed to be replaced. Polar Park is very good. It's not perfect, but it's very good. Two biggest issues have been pricing and parking. Pricing, there are some expensive seats. The premium seats are a premium price, but they have also worked very hard to make a lot of it affordable. You can sit out on the berm for $9. The seats we sat in the seating section, which was $15. Those are pretty reasonable minor league prices.
But that's a shift in minor league thinking, isn't it? Like,
yeah,
usually you go to minor league, it's like, here's the price, here's the ticket price. Psst. Well, and it maybe one price, maybe two prices, that's it. But to get a full docket of different seating prices is,
like you said, there are so many
normal.
options. So yeah, if you can sit on the berm, you can sit in center field, you can sit on top of the Worcester wall. They've got this section called the bridge, which is this walkway that connects the luxury boxes with the outfield section. I've actually been up there. I love being up on the bridge. And here is an example of how they've improved over the years. The first year we went and stood on the bridge. There were no seats there. You had to stand. It was standing room only. It had a drink rail. Great view of the ballpark. You're in deep right field, but you have a great view. Now they have stools there, so you can sit. So that's nice. There's a lot of standing room all over the ballpark. So yeah, all those different areas, all those different gathering areas, as our colleague Mark Viquez likes to say, social gathering areas. Polar Park has social gathering areas up the wazoo. Or should I say the woozoo? No, I won't say that. I will not say that. So yeah, there's price points for everything. Now the parking is another issue. Parking in the area, it's tough, but they're working to improve it.
I bought in the garage. Our friend Gregory bought in the garage.
Yep.
Prepay. It wasn't cheap, but it wasn't terrible.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That might be more blowback from McCoy. McCoy Stadium had free parking.
No, well, that'll.
I like to buy. I parked in the garage. It's $20, $21, I think, and change. I found a parking lot that's 2 blocks away. It's $15. That's my go-to parking spot now. So it's doable.
I would say for me, I liked most of it. A couple things I didn't like from where we were sitting, and we were on the left field line, kind of just past third base. The way the scoreboard was situated, you couldn't see it.
Yep.
Because there was an upper deck kind of.
Now I can explain this weird design choice, because that is a big design flaw. Yeah, if you're down the third base line, you cannot see the giant scoreboard, because two social media decks, or not, two party decks, jut out and block your view of the scoreboard. So because beyond the berm in left field, the plan is for a giant office building to go up back there. So they couldn't push the scoreboard further away from the foul pole. Now, again, people complain, all right, if you're on the third base side, can't see the scoreboard. So what they did is they incorporated a scoreboard into the Worcester wall.
Yeah. Now that's being a veteran of a bazillion baseball games. I'm still looking left at the big scoreboard. And maybe if I have season tickets down there and I'm a regular, I know to kind of look straight ahead, and that, eventually I got there. But, there's something about looking at the big scoreboard, and there's still more information on that big scoreboard than there is on the wall. Now, the wall, is it designed to be kind of like an Oppo Green Monster-ish?
I think so. It's 20, I think it's like 27 feet tall. It's not as big, and it's on the right field. It's not in the left field. And it has seats on top. Seats, mind you, that I can't fit in. I can't sit in those seats. And whenever I post something like that online, I get all kinds of things. Oh, no, you're crazy. There's plenty of room with no seats. No, there's not. And a lot of the stool seats are like that. I mean, I am a bigger guy. I'm not that big, but I don't need 2 airline seats. I'm not that big. Yeah, it's a tight squeeze in a lot of places, and that's my other complaint about the ballpark is it is cramped. It's a bandbox in every sense of the word. Balls fly out of that ballpark. The concourses are tight. Getting around, they boast a 360 concourse, but you have to climb. You can either take an elevator or climb a big flight of steep stairs to get up to up to right field. Then you have to leave the ballpark in center field and come back in left field. So it is 360, and they have done a nice job of putting some stuff to look at, so it's not a boring walk around. So,
I,
but
I
there is stuff crammed into every single corner of Polar Park.
yeah, I
Everywhere
would
you look.
also look forward to, and this is not on the developers or the owners or anything like that. I'd like to see probably a little bit more well-rounded neighborhood area.
Well, that neighborhood canal district
because I made a
was,
wrong turn and I didn't like where I ended up.
yeah, you can. It was not known as the best neighborhood in Worcester. Let's put it that way. But as is their goal, they're looking to make the live, work, play neighborhood. Construction is happening all over the place, and I think in a couple of years it's going to look vastly different than it does now.
Yeah, that's kind of I would say that's a wait and see. The happy face thing, I would.
Smiley ball.
I mean, originally it was a little goofy, but you know what? The more I do this, the more I'm like, you don't have to entertain the masses. You have to entertain your fan base, right? And if the smiley face has connection to the fan base, to that local area, great. Did I know anything about that? Nope. I just thought it was a little goofy smiley face, but thankfully, know someone from the area told me.
Or you could read
the
big yellow bench out in center field, which tells you the whole story of Harvey Ball, who is actually the guy who designed, the old smiley face from the 70s. Have a nice day. The yellow smiley face. He was from Worcester, and they've incorporated that as one of their main logos. You didn't buy the smiley ball hat though. You've got the Worcester with the little heart in the middle, because Worcester is the heart of the Commonwealth.
Well, I did get the W with the little heart.
Yes. So, Worcester and Polar Park. A lot of people wouldn't know Worcester is the second largest city in New England, and they are working hard to make a name for themselves because they have always been put behind Providence and behind Hartford. But Worcester is an up and coming city. They have a lot to do in the city. A good restaurant scene. If you ever go to Worcester, visit Shrewsbury Street. Any kind of food you could want is there in the summertime. A lot of shops, so you can take a walk up Shrewsbury Street. You'll find restaurants, you'll find shops, you'll find anything you need. There's a downtown area that's hopping. The Canal District is up and coming. In a couple of years, it's going to be a great place to visit itself. Division I sports, you got Holy Cross. That's all you got in Worcester, but there's a lot of other schools. Worcester is, Boston is known as a college city. Worcester also has like 12 colleges in the city. Something I didn't know. So, yeah, Polar Park, is it worth the price tag? We'll wait and see. But coming from a lifelong Paw Sox fan, I will give it a tentative thumbs up. You can't get any higher praise than that, right? So that's our look at Polar Park in Worcester, Massachusetts. Thanks for joining us. We hope to see you on the road again real soon. Cheers.
Cheers.